videotaping this in case you all think you have a friend that would like to see the presentation and possibly join our group as well. And a lot of people that wanted to be here couldn't be here. So we'll probably do it on YouTube or something so you can direct people to it eventually. My name's Rebecca Havley, and I've been doing theater since I was 14 years old in Michigan. I went to school for it in New York City, and I've been performing for more years than not in my life, and my whole family is also theater people, and I've done community theater in this area for quite a while. I've directed at the Black Box, at the Joshua Tree Theater, at the Groves Cabin Theater in Yucca Valley, at Theater 29 and 29 Palms, and after doing all of that, I thought, let's start our own company. And the church here was willing and anxious to help us get it started. We're at a point now where we need some help. So I asked for Ben's help to put a presentation together to explain to people what kind of help we need, and we shall get started. What we've done so far is 2 shows a season for the last year and a half. So we've done, our first production was Steel Magnolias, and we had some people from the church in the play as well as some theater friends, and we had to fund the show to begin with. So we started with a fundraising dinner. It went really well too. It was attended by about 80 people, and the funds from that dinner made it possible for us to afford the costumes and props for the production. We had made chili, I think, was the first dinner theme, and we had a lot of people come. We had some live entertainment with our own Ron Stimberg from church here playing guitar and singing for us. We also had the whole cast volunteered that day. Well, they were kind of voluntold to be here and help produce the whole dinner. So all of the cast members actually took food home the night before, and they cooked it, and they put it in their crock pots, and they brought it back. And we spent all day setting up for that dinner. Then we had asked the group at the church and the theater friends to donate raffle prizes that we sold raffle tickets for, which was another great help in raising funds. We are going to need to do that for each production for now. And then rehearsals began for Steel Magnolias. And for about 6 weeks, the actors come almost every night of the week, and they rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. We have people at rehearsals that are helping make props, they're helping build costumes, they're doing hair and makeup and taking photographs. They help clean out backstage. We have a lot that has to happen for each production from before it even starts rehearsing through the rehearsal process. And here's the cast, the whole cast of Steel Magnolias. We also have a lot of fun when we do a show, so we get a little goofy at times. This show had some pretty good reviews. We then went on to the second show of that season, on Golden Pond. And we also did a fundraising dinner. That one was spaghetti, that's right. We had a spaghetti dinner. We held another raffle. And that adjudicators to every production that is a member from the lower and upper desert. The theaters in this area that are part of that are Theater 29, the St.Joseph Players, and the Groves Cabin Theater. And then all of the many, many theaters down below are also part of this organization. They come and nominate all the different categories, like if you were to go to the Tony Awards, they do that for local companies that produce shows, and we got a couple nominations for our first season. The awards are called the Desert Star Awards. And before I show you those, we also decided last season to put together a volunteer appreciation night where everyone and anyone that had volunteered. Our first season for St. Joseph's came to a dessert party where we had a candy bar and different desserts, and everyone was given a really lovely certificate and a little gift. Actually, I have one to show you. We had these little bags made for everyone to bring to rehearsals. All the world's a stage and I'm a player. The St. Joseph's Player Community Theatre. And anyone who does anything here is one of the players. So you're all players already. Just for coming today. At that night, we gave some awards of our own to people who had volunteered here and did really great things. We had MVPs, so Most Valuable Player Awards, and we gave one for each show and then one for the year. And for the first show, Steel Magnolias, it was actually a tie, and it went to the duo of Mary Steele and Judy Andershak, who were my assistants during that. What's that?
Laser.
I'm sorry, Laser. Mary Laser and Judy Andershak. And I'm thinking of Lloyd Steele, I think. Sorry. And then on Golden Pond, I forgot. Oh, Mike Lipsitz won an award. And for Volunteer of the Year, our own Janann Turner won the Most Valuable Player of the Year. So we do that as well because not everyone gets nominated for a Desert Theater League Award, but we like to thank the people here that participate and do great things. So here's our Desert Theater League nominations. Trevor Carpenter actually won the award for the Best Juvenile Actor in a Drama. Our next production was Brighton Beach Memoirs, which is part of this current season. And for that, we also. So as you can see, with each production, we need help with the fundraising dinner, with finding raffles, etc. Brighton Beach Memoirs did very well. It had good reviews as well. It's a part of this current season, and hopefully we get a few more nominations for that one. You never know. There's one we've been planning to do 2 productions a year. This would be the first of this year's offerings, and then the current show that we're doing now would be our second production this year.
When is the season?
Sorry?
How does the season run?
The season is from July to July.
Okay.
So this one we're getting in now, sinking in right before the end of that, yeah. production, Brighton Beach, no, that's not so true, Biloxi Blues, which is part of a trilogy that Neil Simon wrote that's called the Eugene Trilogy. It starts with Brighton Beach Memoirs, where the character that is based on his life, Eugene, plays a 13-year-old boy, which was just described in that review, growing up. He then goes off to war and goes to boot camp in Biloxi, Mississippi. Meets a bunch of guys from all over the country and a really crazy sergeant, and the comedy ensues. So Biloxi Blues is the second in that trilogy, and it's what we're working on now. Rehearsals start next Tuesday night, or it's the 7th, 2 Tuesdays from now. And the last in that trilogy is a show called Broadway Bound, which we would like to start next season with to round up that whole trilogy. And now we get to the portion where I explain what we need. We need some backstage area. The church doesn't have that, and our little cubbies, stage left and right, are quite tiny. So we do have one church member who has offered to loan us his travel trailer to make a backstage space, but we could use another one, because that way we could have a space for the men and a space for the women. It doesn't even need to be functional, really. The Groves Cabin Theater uses them for their backstage areas, and they do have one has an air conditioner, and they don't even need to have plumbing or anything. They just need to be a space that we can hang out in while between scenes, so that the backstage area is not congested. And I need your help. So if I could get KG to turn the lights on, I'm going to go over this list that I passed out and asked you to fill in to just briefly describe the different things that are needed. And if you have questions when I'm finished, I'll take those as we mingle and have fun. So one thing we forgot to put on this form is when can you start. People that just want to come and help do concessions at one of the productions, that's helpful. We have 8 performances per show, so we need 16 people at the concession stands. We need 8 people to help usher. Every show needs several people, so even if you only have a couple hours per production, we need your help. If you have more than that, and you'd like to be part of a group that meets now and then and gets ideas going and actually gets things started, that's really helpful too. So to start on the left side of the list is mostly the stuff that actually has to do with the show itself. Director's assistant is someone that I can go to and give a huge list of things and ask them to delegate it to different volunteers. A stage manager takes control of the production while it's being presented, so they tell all the actors when they have 20 minutes left, 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left. They talk with the technician and the director and make sure everything runs smoothly throughout the production. Backstage hands are people who are backstage for most of the show, and they help people with quick changes, and they pass them the props they need, and they just keep everything stage left and stage right tidy during the run. Set decor and construction is something I really love to do, but need help now and then with that for sure. Sound and light technicians are needed for every production. We don't have a ton of that, but we need someone to handle it. Sound effects, a little bit of light changing here and there, etc. Makeup and hair is very important, especially when you're doing period pieces where the women need to have the style of that era and the makeup of that era, etc. Photographers are needed a lot because we have headshots for every show that go up in the lobby of all the actors in the show. We like to have photographs during rehearsal that we can send to the press. We like photographs of the parties. Like every kind of event we do, it'd be nice to have a photographer there. A historian is something I really like to get started before too many piles grow in my house, because every show has so much printed material, so many photographs, and if we start to keep track of those, we can use them for things like this, because Ben and I took quite a few hours to just throw this many things together, and there's so much more that needs to be compiled and saved so that we can keep a record of the history of the group. We do a silent auction at the fundraising dinner. We did at the last one because a lot of the raffle gifts that are given to us to give away are worth more than $1, like they all are, but some of them are worth quite a bit more. So we took about 12 of the nicer items last fundraiser, and we put bid sheets on them so that people could bid during the dinner and win those at the end of the night. And that's a lot of work. Every single one of them needs a sheet with what it is and what the minimum bid is, and there's things to print out and to count during the night. So having someone manage that at an event is really helpful. I wrote storage space because we don't have a lot of it here. And one thing that we auction off during the run of the play, if you've come to see a show here, we have things ready to auction off that are on stage because we have nowhere to store anything. But for example, we'd like to save that doorway for the show Broadway Bound because that takes place again at the same home. And if we could save that somewhere, that'd be great. And we might have to find a space here, but things like that pop up. And if you happen to have a little storage space that you wouldn't mind letting us borrow here and there, that's why I wrote that into this list. Another dressing room RV would be great. I have so many lists of people who have written things, filled things out like this for me at different events, who come to the show and write that they like the next information for the next play. And it just keeps growing and gets passed around, and there's not one person in charge of making sure that we have all the contact information of everyone who'd like to be informed of a production. If you think of something other that you know you're good at that we didn't list here, please fill that in. A fundraising team is really important because the only fundraising we've done so far is the dinners, which are come and gone. You make that money, you spend that money, and there's nothing left. We've had someone donate a whole collection of art that was covering all the walls, and we've sold a lot of it, and all of the proceeds for that fundraiser are going to the group, which is really great. And we've also had artists put their work up during the run of the play and give us a little percentage. That hasn't made us much at all. So we need to find, I would love a group of 2, 3, 4 people that could meet with me now and then, because I have like 8 ideas for fundraisers that I don't have time to implement while I'm directing a show, and that way I can give them the ideas and they can roll with that and go, hey, this is a good one, I'd be good at this, let me help you do it. So that's really important, because if we could have fundraising going on through the whole year, we could fund our shows much more easily. A dinner manager would be nice to help coordinate that whole day, because it's quite an event. Some of you have done them with me, and it's all day long. If we could have someone manage that and like bring in a few people that weren't just at rehearsal the night before, didn't just go home and cook a crock pot full of stuff, if we could have a little team that helped put that on and take a little bit of, give the crew a little relief, and they could just maybe be introduced, that would be really nice. Also, someone to help collect the raffle prizes would be great, because that's another whole job. Pass the tickets out for people to sell, maybe where you have friends that might buy raffle tickets, pass them out to the cast members, make sure people, you record this person took 10 tickets, this person took 5, and then bring it all home at the end and see who won the prizes. A box office manager, I've talked a bit with Linda Carpenter, who helped us so much at the last couple of shows to run the box office. We've talked about getting our own phone number, our own cell phone, and possibly one of the little gadgets where you can take a person's credit card or debit card, something we need to look into. And she needs assistance to help answer phone calls and call people back and book their seats. Also, Mary has done our books for the last show, and she even took the previous shows, and she's helping us put them all together and make sense of all the money that's gone in and out of each production. But I need someone at rehearsals now and then, maybe just once a week, to come in, because we give the cast and crew things to sell. We give them dinner tickets, we give them raffle tickets, we give them show tickets, we ask them to sell ads in the program, and then everyone comes to me at rehearsal and says, here's my money for 2 raffle tickets, here's my money for Senate show ticket. You know, everything's like, oh, that's too much. So if someone could just come in and take those bits and then leave and make notes of it, that's really a great help. A front of house manager isn't a huge task, but one person needs to be in charge of collecting emails from people who would like to work in the front of house, which is a term that means in the lobby as an usher or in a concession area, selling concessions before the show and at intermission. A lot of people come up to me and say, when can I usher? I can give them your email and they can tell you I'm available on these dates, and then you fill in all the holes. That's what front of house manager means in my book. Ushering is just someone at the front of the lobby with the programs, handing them out, welcoming people, and we need at least one of those every production as well. Concessions clerk, same, takes and sells and takes money for the concession stand. This is something we don't have at all right now, the next few things. We don't have a website, which would be nice. If we had a website, the church has one, but if we had one and it could link into the church so people could go to St. Joseph's website and then click the players and see what we're doing. That's a dream, so anyone knows a webmaster that might want to volunteer some time. Also a social media liaison that would make us a Facebook page. Every time we have a few pictures pop up, they throw them on there. They should put on the fundraising dinners. They put all the information out to the media through Twitter, through Facebook, etc. We had a media press manager who worked with us for the first few shows. Unfortunately, he passed away last year, and he so desperately needed that position. He was so good at it. He put out a press release for anything and everything that came up as time went by. I'm pretty good at writing them, but he always found my mistakes and added things I missed and sent them out at the right times. When I'm in the middle of a production, it's really hard to go, oh yeah, we need to get rehearsal pictures to that one, newspaper. So that kind of a person is really key and necessary, needed. Ben Sasnett is incredible. He has made so many printed items for every single show we've done. He did this presentation, he's done every program, they're beautiful. Every poster, every ticket has probably been designed and printed by him. However, he can't be here every single production, so if someone were good at program designing or would want to learn how to do it from Ben, he is willing to teach someone to do that as well. And maybe just take over some of the printing that is needed during the show, not the entire thing at first. That would also lessen his load and help us out a lot. There's so many forms like this one that are printed for every single show. And some of them I save and some I forget to, and sometimes 3, 4, 5 different people do them and they're not all compiled. And we need someone that can just basically in Word or any easy program just make these forms and save them somewhere that we can share with the next person that needs to work on a show. And then we need to copy lots of stuff like this and scripts, which are this big when they're printed, and that's something that we've been doing ourselves, like amongst the group of us. And it's very expensive when we get down to the printing of actual programs, which one other thing I'd love to have is an ad manager for the programs that we do for each show, someone that could ask the cast, and we do ask the church members, and you could ask people you work with, or whatever the case may be, but I need someone that makes sure that we sell ads for a show. So that's a really important position as well. There's so many, and I'm sorry to just throw them all on you, but they're all needed. And each show I've been kind of dragging all my friends in. Can you do this, and this? And then can you do, by the time that one show is over, they're worn out for the next show, right, Janan?
Yeah.
And then, maybe they'll skip a show and they'll come back to me later. But it's so much work if only a few people are doing it. But what was that phrase you said earlier, KJ?
Many hands do little work.
Many hands do little work. So if I could get many hands to be involved, that would be so nice. Also, the city of Yucca Valley doesn't have a community theater other than this one. And they haven't for as long, the place in Joshua Tree's been there for 40 years. There was never anything here for at least that long. And there's people that companies in the area that help that group out. There's companies in 29 Palms that sponsors things at Theater 29. You know, there's gotta be people in this town, in Yucca Valley, that would like a community theater here, that would like to support it, that would like to help fund it, that would like, you know, to be a part of it. And if we could find people also to go out into the, you know, take some kind of a compilation of what we've done, what we want to do, to different businesses, I'm sure we could find support and help through the community.